We know gas prices are on the rise in America, especially after yesterday when President Biden announced that he's gonna be cutting off any imports of Russian oil as they've invaded Ukraine. More punishment for those guys there. And specifically, I mean, I've seen it just in LA, nearly $7 a gallon here, we've seen in many points. But Jim Jordan wanted to go ahead and capitalize on this as well and say that's just Democrats. It's what they really want, because Democrats don't put gas in their cars. Let's watch what he said.
The real answer is let's increase production here. And understand we're in this terrible position because of stupid policy decisions from the Biden administration. You all know this, that canceling the Keystone Pipeline, not allowing drilling on federal lands, keeping ANWR open. Those are the things that need to happen. So we've got to focus on that side of the equation. But here's the problem, Steve. The left doesn't want to go there. Even if Joe Biden wanted to go there, his party won't let him. I sat in a hearing a few months ago where Ro Khanna, a Democrat member from California, the state that's now got like $7 gas. Yeah. He had the oil and gas executives there in front of him, and he badgered every one of them, asking them one simple question: will you pledge to decrease production this year? I mean, the Democrats want $7 gas. Yeah. So that is the biggest problem.
So again, the same line of the same things over and over again. We did extend the Keystone XL pipeline. We need to help these corporations, these oil corporations, make more money. Again, he went through all these policies. How will those policies help right now? That question is never asked. So, okay, Jim, when are these policies gonna go into effect and how will they help right now? What will the gas prices go down to? How come gas prices are always high? Jesus. Anyways, next step, because Kevin McCarthy, who is from California, as Jim Jordan was talking about, how California's gas prices have gone crazy. He also accused the state of funding a war criminal, Vladimir Putin, the guy that so many conservatives have been fawning over for the past 3 to 4 weeks. Let's watch what he had to say.
In fact, California imported twice as many barrels of oil from Russia in 2021 than from Canada. So that means this money went to Putin to pay for his war.
And who was in support of Putin? Who called him a genius? Who called him smart? Who said this is a great move by him? I can't believe he's running his country so well. I wish I could run it the same way. Your deity, Donald Trump, who's in support of Vladimir Putin. Oh yeah, so we pay Russia for oil, and that's great. Hey, by the way, how about we stop paying Russia for oil? How about we developed our own clean energy that's detached from oil? You ready for that yet? Because that's gonna be a process. You guys have been holding that up. People have been trying to implement that, but that really doesn't matter. Now, Rayvana, one more clip before you jump in here, because we did mention yesterday how Jen Psaki, the press secretary, did beat back at Ducey about his questions about these. But Joe Biden also had something to say about how his policies are not limiting this oil production.
Look, let me be clear about 2 other points. First, it's simply not true that my administration or policies are holding back domestic energy production. That's simply not true. Even amid the pandemic, companies in the United States pumped more oil during my first year in office than they did during my predecessor's first year. We're approaching a record levels of oil and gas production in the United States, and we're on track to set a record of oil production next year. In the United States, 90% of onshore oil production takes place on land that isn't owned by the federal government. And of the remaining 10% that occurs on federal land, the oil and gas industry has millions of acres leased. They have 9,000 permits to drill now. They could be drilling right now, yesterday, last week, last year. They have 9,000 to drill onshore that are already approved. So let me be clear. They are not using them for production now. That's their decision. These are the facts. We should be honest about the facts. Second,
they're not gonna listen to facts, and there's one more fact that they're not listening to. We're talking about how Biden has restricted all of this, and also that this terrorist state of California has accepted Putin's money, or has paid Putin. Well, under Trump, purchases of Russian oil increased by 49%, Ray.
I mean, it's really hard to listen. I mean, of course, the conservatives are all wrong, but it's hard to listen to Joe Biden brag about, energy production in the United States that is actively harming the environment. Like it's something he's super proud of. But this whole story has sort of left me very grateful because I live in Chicago. I don't have a car. I never know what gas prices are. Like when I heard you say $7, I was shocked. It's just not something I have to think about because I live in a city that has fairly substantial public infrastructure. I can take the bus or the CTA, the trains, the L trains, wherever I need to go pretty much. I don't need a car. And I'm in a very privileged position because I know a lot of people don't have that in their cities. And of course, an investment into public infrastructure all across the country is something that's going to have to happen over time, to create that sort of infrastructure. But that's the way that we avoid these situations in the future, right? Less reliance on oil and gas. Gas prices are less of a concern because less people have personal cars or need personal cars for daily use.
Now, next time you hear a Republican politician talk about how these push for renewable energies or advancing and getting off of fossil fuels is just a Democratic ploy to make some money, I want you to think about how they're now standing for every fossil fuel industry, for every oil company, for every gas station that is pumping up these prices. And that's just what they're doing. If you're gonna promote corporations to this degree, you can't say that someone else is doing it for money. What are you doing it for? Well, for the politicians, they're doing it so they can prop themselves up by these companies and act like they care about people so they can get reelected. And who's paying them for that are these oil companies. They write their own legislation for them.